ahead and get started. So first off, obviously this deck doesn't need an extra deck, although I do play Instant Fusion because, well, Instant Fusion is good. The reason why is because you can actually just get rid of one of your opponent's hand traps, potentially. So I like it for that. Extravagance to do double Extravagance, okay. Let's go ahead and activate this. We're going to go ahead and add the Toon Kingdom, and since we have the Toon Page turn, we can basically set up with this. We're going to activate this, and we're not going to set... Okay. We're going to set this, and then we're also set this, because I'm not going to use multiple Extravagance. So our turn 1 play is just going to be this. I don't need to go ahead and get a Toon out randomly. It's not necessary at all. In fact, I would prefer him to try to pop one of these back rows immediately. But I will activate this as soon as he tries to get rid of this, so it's in the graveyard, therefore we can go ahead and protect it. The whole Toon archetype, by the way, after testing, is very weak, which you guys will see here very soon. But we will be able to pull off an OTK on this guy, unless his back row is like Mirror Force, but let's be honest, no one really plays Mirror Force or any of those like cards. Technically only Storming Mirror Force would actually like do anything, because if they'd be destroyed by Battle of a Card Factor, just banish one instead. So we'll be able to protect ourselves. What tech did you just activate? Domain, okay. Oh, okay, you can't special summon monsters from the extra. Oh, don't worry, bro. I don't even plan to do that at all. So we'll see what he goes ahead and makes. Giving him a monster is not bad at all. And we'll go ahead and Twin Twisters. Oh, okay. So during the end phase, we're going to go ahead and activate 2 cards. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Extravagance because we can only make use of 1. So we'll go ahead and get rid of, because this card does absolutely nothing. I mean, technically with Instant Fusion, it does help out. And then we're going to also go ahead and grab out a monster over here. And this is random. We're not sure what we're going to get, but we're always going to get BLS no matter what, and I'll explain why. So we select BLS, we select Toon Dark Magician, and Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Toon Dark Magician will get me out whatever I want. Dragon will get me out whatever I have in my hand. So we'll go ahead and get out whatever we get in our hand for the following turn. So we're going to go ahead and pop double back row, which is quite nice. We've got Toon Rollback, so we can have something attack twice. We're going to go ahead and activate that Extravagance. So we can go ahead and get rid of 6 more cards. And see what we go ahead and get. But he doesn't have a Tribute Summon monster, so I can still take this out and hit him for 4,800 points of damage. But we'll see if this effect goes off or not. Toons are very, very capable of doing OTK plays. Very, very easy. Let's see what he goes ahead. Oh, unfortunately, we did not get what I wanted, which is just literally like any other Toon monster, but we can RNG and make it game potentially right here. All we need is a Toon that can actually attack the same turn. So Black Flush Soldier, Dark Magician, both of those, as long as we get out one of those. Unfortunately, Ancient Gear Golem cannot get that effect either, where it can attack immediately. Whereas we still have nothing in our hands, so there's no point of really going for that. So we'll go ahead and select that. We got 2 Black Flush Soldier, perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. So remember, we're going to be able to attack directly with Toons, and that's kind of how this deck works. And how you protect yourself is just, this card is protected by the Toon Page turn, so we're going to go ahead and activate this. So our BLS can attack twice. So that's 6,000 directly. And so, because he doesn't have Toons, which, again, he's not playing Toons, so he's not going to have Toons. Even if he had another monster, it doesn't matter. And if he activates, most of the Mirror Force cards will be okay. It's just like is it Storming or whatever, or Drowning. Either flipping them face down or doing whatever, it doesn't really matter. This is basic concepts of the deck anyways. I'll actually explain the other different ways to OTK in the... a GG rematch. I mean, to be honest, Monarchs doesn't have enough negates to actually deal with this deck. Let me actually go into the other replay that I want to share with you guys. Now we have like a live comm. I was gonna start getting more of these replays, but honestly, the gameplay is exactly the same. Unless you want to make a non-Toon deck with a Synchro variant, which doesn't even make it Toons. All you're doing with the Toons is getting out 1 to 2 extra free monsters. But here's how the basics of the deck can work. I'll also show off the amount of negates that you get in this deck is very little. The deck only has really Toon Terror, and there's a briefcase, but the briefcase is really conditional. In fact, everything is very conditional because you have to have Toon World and a Toon monster for this card to be live. At that point, most of the time, you're better off just playing like Solemn Strike or just regular Solemn even. However, this card is technically searchable, and I'll show you guys some of the plays here. But I originally was going to get more gameplay, but there isn't really anything too spicy that you can do in the the pure Toon variant, which is what you guys are seeing over here. So you'll see I'm activating the Toon page turn over here. We're going to go ahead and get Dark Magician. So Dark Magician lets you special summon any Toon from your deck, ignoring its conditions. This is the big boy combo here. Then you go ahead and summon Red Eyes. Red Eyes lets you go ahead and special summon a Toon monster from your hand, except for itself, ignoring its summoning conditions. So basically, at this point, you can go ahead and dump triple monsters out, and at this point, that's almost game. It's so short of making it game, because this is, what is that, 3, 4, 5. It's like 100 off, right? We're 100 off of making it. If this card had 100 more attack, it would be able to make it game if we start off with being able to attack with all of them, that is. Because remember, the Toon mechanic, Blackluster can attack immediately. The Toon Dark Magician can bring out Blackluster, which can attack immediately. Or if you bring out Toon Red Eyes, you can't attack immediately with it, but you special summon it during your opponent's turn. Like I was going to explain, because it's a quick play. So he ends up getting rid of my Toon Kingdom over here. He tries to pop it with Shaddoll Dragon, but when you happen to have the Toon Bookmark over here, that lets you keep the card alive if it would be destroyed. But a lot of times people will be bouncing it back against honest meta decks. You're going to get face rolled with this pure variant of the deck. But he's going to go ahead and attack over the BLS, which honestly wasn't the best play because Toon Dark Magician, again, once per turn, discard a Toon card, and you get to choose one of those effects to special summon or add any Toon spell and trap, which can be the negate card, which is quite great. But with the negate card, honestly, it's a decent card. Here's Planet Pathfinder, which lets me instantly go right into Toon Kingdom, and from there we're going to go ahead and Comic Hand, take his card, or there's Shadow Toon. If I really wanted to, this is what we could have done. We could have activated Shadow Toon, burn him for 2,800 points damage, then steal his monster and attack directly with his monster because the Comic Hand does work with it. And it does have the word Toon World in its text, but it is, in its actual name, it's not a Toon card, which is really ridiculous. And it doesn't count. But that's the basic ins and outs of the Toon deck. It actually has a lot of problems in the current state right now. And I was even thinking when I was making this deck, I'm like, am I building this wrong? I looked up a lot of other Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTubers, and it's pretty much the same thing. They're having problems with making the deck be as powerful as it could. I looked at some alternatives because the whole deck is revolved around Toon Kingdom. You could play the old school Toon World card, but that's just like, let's go minus. Yeah, I even mentioned it in my previous video where I had a discussion. The Toon archetype doesn't have any good Toon monsters for the most part. The best one is probably the Toon Blackluster, but one, it's not a quick play. Second, you can't attack when you activate the effect to go ahead and banish a card. And then on top of that, the whole deck, like the monsters have no negates. The only negates that you get is with Toon Terror. But here's the problem. If you open up with too many Toon Terrors and all the other cards that require Toon World, if you don't have Toon World, you run into a lot of problems. And on top of that, most meta decks will go ahead and get rid of the Toon World via one way or another. If you don't happen to have Bookmark, or even if you do have Bookmark, it has that effect where you banish it and you can protect it once, but they'll eventually just get rid of it, and that's the main problem. So I was like, okay, I'll think about go ahead and I'll run Field Barrier over here, where neither player can activate a new spell card, and also field spells cannot be destroyed. The problem is they can still be targeted. If this made it so the cards couldn't be targeted, it'd be excellent. Heck, if this card in the graveyard said that the Toon Kingdom couldn't be targeted, it'd be okay. So at the end of the day, the deck has a lot of problems. The other negation card would be Toon Briefcase, which I've seen some people try out. It's too slow, but if your opponent summons a monster and you have to control a Toon monster, you get to shuffle that back into the deck, which is quite great, but again, that doesn't negate any effects over here, so that can technically be a problem as well, with Yu-Gi-Oh! Being as fast as it is. With Extravagance, that's pretty much your only draw power with the deck. I'll mouse over the cards real quick so you guys can get the deck profile, in case you wanted to see the early build. Oh, I should probably explain this. Black Swindle Legend lets you instantly get out Toon Red Eyes. Toon Red Eyes will then let you get out another card. It's just the normal summon in the deck that can be viable. There probably is a lot more cards that would be normal summonable because you don't special summon in this deck, but you absolutely need this card. The deck loses, like, every single card requires Toon World to be on the field, which Toon Kingdom counts as Toon World, but again, the old school Toon World, it's just really not that great enough. I thought about just playing one of them, to be honest, but nonetheless, Shadow Toon's great. I kind of made this more of a OTK, really fast-oriented deck, because I think that's the only way to play Toons. Even if your opponent makes Appaloosa, which has a lot of negations, a lot of times you can still play through it. All it would come down to is, well, you can Comic Hand, take that, and now it's yours, and you're good to go. There's no downsides at all, plus it can attack directly, which is awesome here. But at the end of the day, Negating monster effects doesn't really hurt this deck. It's basically, if you run into a Trade Beast, it's an auto loss because you can never get out Toon World, right? But at the end of the day, I think this deck still just needs a lot more to make it viable. But just burning your opponent for a bunch of damage, and then, like, if you open up with either Shadow Toon, Toon Rollback, or Comic Can, a lot of times you can pull off an OTK in this deck because the random card that you get off of Toon Page turn, a lot of times you'll just be getting out double monsters, whether it's... You have basically 2 out of 3 chances to get out double monsters, because I just search out these 3. This is an extra card. The other way to summon Toon Blackluster is by tributing the card from your hand. I was actually thinking about Heretics, but then it's not even Toons at the end of the day. But they don't have an easy way to get out a lot of the Toon monsters is another problem. Even the smaller ones, like if I'm going to play Toon Mass Sorcerer, attack directly for 900, draw 1, like it's not realistic. The only way to actually win with Toons is pretty much to go ahead and go for OTK plays. So that's the way I've designed this deck. Rollback lets me go ahead and swing twice, which again, Comic Can or the burn card lets me basically do the same thing. It's just deal a bunch of damage to my opponent while they can't respond to my direct attack. And I usually get 2 direct attacks, and if I just target something with like 2-3k attack, it's game. This card, obviously, it's pretty easy. Just search around whatever Toon card you want. Toon Bookmark over here is a card where it just lets us add a Toon World and protects our cards. This card's really important. Even though they have so much searchability in the deck, it's still just... It loses to once Toon Kingdom goes away. Twin Twisters, then we got the Toon Page turn at 3, then I'm running through Comic Cans and Toon Kingdom. Metaverse because I need this card. And then, honestly, I thought that deck would be really good because you can search this card off of Toon Dark Magician, but at the end of the day, you don't really get that many opportunities to negate multiple times when you make your deck all based around OTK. But again, the main problem with this card is it requires you to control Toon World and a Toon Monster. If it only required either or, it'd be a lot better. But at the end of the day, without this card, your deck probably didn't function anyways. And if you run too many of these, or even like Toon Mask, you can just break even harder, and I think that's the main problem with the deck. But anyways, that's some gameplay for you guys. If you guys want to send me any other replays of this deck, feel free to go and do so. Like I said, I really thought that this new Toon stuff would be a lot better that we got. Like, not what we got was like just not enough. I really was hoping we'll get something much better in the future. But if there's an update to Toons or you guys want to see more Toon variants when they announce more, I will cover it. But for now, that's pretty much going to be it for Toons. So if you enjoyed the video, and if you're new here, hit subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on when we give you guys an updated variant of Toons. Because this one, at least the pure Toon variant, which is what a lot of people really wanted, I think it's not ready yet. We're going to have to wait for another set. Oh, I forgot to go over the extra deck. My bad. For the extra deck, it's basically just these and Linkarimo. The rest of the stuff I ain't going to be making, I'll be honest. But I was thinking you could make some rank 7s, because if you go for Dark Magician and Red Eyes, you get out 2 level 7s that can't attack. You might as well get some value out of it, right? But anyways, nonetheless, it doesn't really matter too much. It's good enough in my opinion. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next one. Peace.